This podcast is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information contained in or provided from or through this podcast is not intended to be and does not constitute as financial advice, investment advice, trading advice, or any form of advices. The information in this podcast is general in nature and is not specific to you, the users, or anyone else. You should not make any decision, be it financial, investment, trading, or otherwise, based on any of the information presented in this podcast without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or financial advisory. You understand that you are using any and all information shared in this podcast at your own risk. You are solely liable for any losses that you may incur from investing, and in no event shall we be liable for any losses which may be incurred while investing.
Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to the ABCC podcast. As usual, we have me, Alan, and Marcus here today.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Marcus. So, what we're going to talk about today, Marcus?
Okay, so today's topic will be about Ethereum. Previously, the past 2 weeks, we have been speaking about Bitcoin, and in the next couple of weeks, we'll touch on individual coins and tokens, just to let our audience have a feel of what these tokens and coins are about, and also some background on them as well. So I can start off a little bit on the Ethereum part, as well as the founder, but maybe Alan, you can share with us what do you know about Ethereum?
All right, sure. So, Ethereum is a decentralized public blockchain platform, which is open source and it is programmable. So, what it means is it allow Ethereum users to develop smart contract and decentralized application, or known as dApp. The network users validate the transaction through consensus algorithm. The Ethereum platform is built to allow the creation of Ethereum smart contract through a peer-to-peer network. So a smart contract is a phrase that is describing computer code or a computer script that is used by the developer to program their own functionalities. Before we go into detail about smart contract, we'll let Marcus to talk about the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, so the founder of Ethereum is this guy called Vitalik Buterin. Of course, there are altogether 8 founders of Ethereum, but Vitalik is the most prominent one. A little bit of information on him. He is a Russian-Canadian programmer who devised and founded Ethereum. And he's born in 1994. So he's actually not a very old guy who just keeps programming for like 20, 30 years. He's actually a very young guy in comparison to many of the big conglomerate CEOs out there. When he was actually 6 years old, his parents migrated to Canada along with his father, who's also a computer scientist, just like Vitalik. And an interesting thing about Vitalik is that when he was just in his 3rd grade, he was actually placed in a class for gifted children in his elementary school. So a lot of people at that point actually thought that this group of children in this gifted class are actually people of similar kind of brain capacity, like the greats of the past, like Albert Einstein. So Vitalik was actually deemed for something big from the very beginning already. And before he became the Ethereum founder, he actually co-founded Bitcoin magazine. So Bitcoin magazine is actually very well known even until now. And it was during his university days that his posts about Bitcoin picked up a lot of momentum, and then he started to post them, and he founded Bitcoin Magazine. And at first he thought that this was just something that he was just very interested in, but then he realized very quickly that a lot of people actually took his views seriously, and that was actually his first big success, which is the Bitcoin Magazine. And thereafter, he started to write the Ethereum white paper. So he conceived it in 2013, if I'm not wrong. And he was very afraid that he would be highly criticized by all the crypto analysts. Back then in 2013, crypto isn't something that is widely explored by a lot of people. So he was afraid of being criticized. But much to his surprise, a lot of people actually recognized his idea and actually praised him for what he had achieved to create. And that was the point whereby it all started, and Vitalik actually put his both feet forward to go ahead to create Ethereum, which is what it is today right now. So I think in terms of how Ethereum actually originates, and what is the plus point and what is the strong point about Ethereum is mainly about the smart contracts that Vitalik has been forefronting right from the start. So exactly what are smart contracts? Smart contracts are actually designed like what Alan said earlier. They're actually a protocol, and they can digitally verify, enforce, facilitate a contract without the need of any paperwork. I think in terms of paper-wise, I think especially for the past 10 to 20 years, a lot of people have been saying, save the trees, use less paperwork. Smart contract is one big thing that can reduce and also help on that notion as well. And of course, smart contracts are only possible because of the true nature of blockchain, which is decentralization. Because with decentralization, it means that there is no need for any intermediaries, and all the tasks and all the transactions can be carried out by parties and can be automated as well. And all this just means that smart contracts can be used to share value in the form of shares, property, money in a conflict-free, transparent, and decentralized manner. And as there is no middleman, the process is also secure and tamper-proof due to, of course, the blockchain's immutability feature. And in that case, Alan will now walk you through on why smart contracts are needed and useful.
All right, thank you, Marcus, for talking about Vitalik and the smart contract in general. So one of the first thing when we come to smart contract and why is it very important in the blockchain or DeFi industry is trust. So smart contract instills trust into the whole deal and agreement that's set by different parties to do transactions. So once the smart contract is deployed, it is basically impossible to modify the document or change the terms of the contract. So the document of the contract is now stored safely on the blockchain without a need of any centralized authority changing or amending such agreement. So the use of smart contract also bring in trust among the participants, because each of the parties involved in the smart contract were able to read it and understand what's going on, and knowing that it will be impossible to change once it is on the Ethereum network. Another thing that's important for the use of smart contract is autonomy and savings. So what it means is it brings autonomy and doesn't need any third party or any intermediate party to facilitate the transaction of the agreement. So let's say the use of smart contract can also bring in savings for parties involved in the exchange. So the savings can be done by removing any unnecessary middlemen, such as estate agents, notaries, assistants, or any other form of intermediary. And in simple words, the smart contract remove any extra fees or any other party risk that might associate with the use of any service out there. And the final thing is the accuracy. So once all the transaction is done on a smart contract, there will be no error with the accurate, providing the smart contract is well written and well created and well revealed before making it into life. So actually a lot of industry has already adapting the smart contract idea, and we will talk about some of the idea next.
Thank you, Alan. In terms of all those advantages of smart contracts, I think which one do you feel is like the best factor or the best kind of advantage about smart contracts, Alan?
I think the best one is reducing middleman and less counterparty risk, because a lot of like traditional transaction, you have to go for lawyers or accountants. All these people or all these intermediates have their own risks and can make mistakes, right?
Yep. I think in terms of like for myself, I really think like in consensus with what you have said, I really think that the savings part is a huge part of why smart contracts are getting so widely adopted. In fact, they are already widely adopted in so many industries and segments. Really, because of the savings, I think that alone will really bring in a lot of value to all the companies that adopt this, and which is exactly what I'm going to touch on next, along with Alan, on the use cases of Ethereum.
On that note, we have come to the end of part 1 of this podcast, and we'll see you guys again next week.